dropping F-bombs.
I think that
Bobby. Why am I always the one?
I think that Aaron Judge might become the AL.
Got this fucking record.
Oh, yeah, very good. Cooper, love you, bud. Good job,
Oh,
bud.
Dr. Carroll always said thank you for letting it you use the office, right?
Give him a shout out. Okay, very good. Yeah, normally when a kid
So
gets
far,
sent to
I got
the
about
dean's
6
office,
minutes.
it's not great.
Seriously.
I know, but this one's good.
This is a great visit to the dean's office, Scoop.
Coop time.
Love you, Coopy. We'll see you at home.
Bye.
There you go.
Bye, Coop.
There it goes.
I mean, come on. I'm the mom. I mean, like.
How great is this? And Sam is texting us that he did great on which test was this for him?
This was wasn't
He
this
was
district?
some kind of a honcho over at
Oh,
Channel
we're doing
3.
great. This is
30.6 out of 30.
In terms of thinks the Jets are going to beat the Niners.
I don't
Come on, man.
want to be near you,
It's
and I love you. And TJ, if you want to come over and be a buffer, that's fine.
It's fine.
I don't want to be near him.
It's fine. It's fine.
For that game
I can be
Well, he knows
fine.
how
I'm
little
fine.
No, he's
No,
not.
he's dead.
Absolutely fine.
That's what I said.
Absolutely fine. You know what? I
If
want to
you
win
win
that.
Michigan,
I don't know
I
what
think
happened.
Michigan.
Well, it's nice to know if I ever dropped dead.
That's
That's
when you're
fucking
gonna be
still there.
special.
His emotions.
Still, they play Texas in
Right.
week
Hey,
2.
you know what?
Now,
Yeah,
that's a different
I'll
story.
say one thing.
That's a
Frankie's
different story.
story.
I'm guilty as charged.
Nobody will
Yeah, I
remember
will
me
accept
anyway,
it
so
so
who
much
cares?
better.
And
We're
boy, was that not
Jets.
the Jets.
You are.
No, no.
The Jets have been like an emotional.
All right,
No,
I'll
no,
talk
it's
to
just,
you.
it's
Boy,
different.
I believe
Michigan's
you will be on the
Michigan's
field.
different.
There's more about the
Yeah, cool.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's killing me.
But I want the Jets to beat the Niners just because it would make, me happy and a bunch of people I know happy. Plus, it would get me halfway home to having a bottle of Opus One opened up here, dressed like LeBron
You're gonna
James.
spill on
I was having a
yourself.
sip of that.
It's gonna be a nightmare.
Oh, but you should be rooting for the Jets now.
Well, I'm never
be
going to root
2-0.
for the Niners.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, ever.
It's a win-win for you.
Can we have all the guys who are on hold call back tomorrow? I'm worried about that.
How do
It's
you don't
stressing.
like that whenever we end the show with
No.
callers?
It
Well, we
stresses
got
me.
one more. If everybody hold on, we're going to take one more in the Roku only segment. But the win-loss game will continue on tomorrow. Sue Bird will be on tomorrow's program talking about tonight's Caitlin Clark home debut with the Indiana Fever. That's the way I'm dressed. The Monday of week 3.
You give and you give. It's time to get with Straight Talk Wireless. You get a reliable 5G network and unlimited data and a Samsung Galaxy A14 included with the activation of the Silver Unlimited plan. So you can give your janky phone to your kid. Yeah!
Switch to Straight Talk. Find us at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com. Requires in-store activation. Device offer ends 6/9/24. Taxes and fees apply.
For the ones who keep stadiums buzzing and shop floors running, there's Grainger. Keep your operations humming with professional-grade maintenance, safety, and industrial products from Grainger. Offering supplies and solutions for every industry, plus same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, Grainger can help you stay on top of your game. Not sure exactly what you need? Huddle up with Grainger's product specialists. They'll tackle your toughest questions to help you move your team forward. Call, click Grainger.com.
Raider Nation, what is up? It's your boy Q, and I want to remind you of all the multiple ways that you can listen to the radio station all over the world. Download the Raiders mobile app, open it up, and click on radio. It's that simple. Or if you're on the TuneIn app, you can check out Raider Nation Radio 920. Just search it. Take Raider Nation Radio wherever you are, wherever you live, all over the world by way of the Raiders mobile app. Click on radio or TuneIn Radio. Search Raider Nation Radio 920.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
Sunday afternoons are made for baseball, and this week's game features the Padres and the Braves Sunday at 4 on ESPN Las Vegas, 1100 AM and 100.9 FM. Brought to you by Finley Toyota. We're here for you.
McFadden Industrial Hardware is your one.
What a day, what a day. NFL schedule release day. Who's with me? Who's with me? NFL schedule release. Who's with me? What do you say? Everybody can hear me loud and clear. It's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one.
Unmatched customer service. We keep our clients informed as we walk them through the legal process with patience and clear communication. So if you've been hurt in a crash, Call Sam and Ash.
Gonna be a good one.
1234, or visit Sam and Ash Law.
I got an edge to me today. I have an edge to me every day.
What's right?
I have an edge to me every day, but today I'm a little worked up on the Raiders schedule. All right, put in the chat what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what you hate about it, what games you think, what games you like, what games you not like, all that stuff.
This is JT from Las Vegas' premier cigar lounge, La Casa Cigars and Lounge at Tivoli Village. You're going to be blown away like I was when I stepped into their walk-in humidor. Over 500 cigar labels to choose from. Plus, they feature one of the largest whiskey, scotch, and bourbon selections anywhere in the valley with live local entertainment 7 nights a week. Great place to watch football games. Check it out at LaCasaCigars.com.
Yeah.
Auto Group is pleased to welcome the newest dealership in the Valley Auto Mall, Finley Nissan Henderson. Looking for a newer used Nissan car truck?
All right, we should be ready to go here, huh? Live chat. We are looking live.
2024 Altimas, OAC, and Nissan Versa starting at only $18,000. Browse their full inventory of new or pre-owned vehicles at FinleyNissanHenderson.com. Find your Nissan at Finley Nissan Henderson inside the Valley Auto Mall.
Craving the taste of torta subs? Take the fast track to flavor with our easy online delivery.
Okay, loud and clear. Thank you.
Premium meats, cheeses, loaded with
Thank you.
sauces.
One of you YouTubers here can help me out with this. I can't see myself in the screen, and I can see all you, and I know you can see me, but I wonder what button I clicked on or should click on so I can see myself on the screen. Just asking that. All right, NFL schedule release.
A motorcycle accident or an accident on a commercial premises.
Syracuse is coming here. Juan says 11-5 this year. JT, do you ever get tired of hearing yourself? Yes, that's a good question. I do get tired. That's why I don't listen to me. So when my show goes off, I don't say a word. I don't listen to anything I say. There isn't any weather games. Yeah, I agree. That's a good. All right, let's have fun, everyone.
You're listening to the JT the Brick Show, where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's time for JT the Brick.
The Raider offseason is about content that is productive.
Shotgun dual call, backpedaling, lobbing to the end zone, trying to get at him, makes the grab. Touchdown Raiders!
I thought Aiden O'Connell played pretty well last year. He's a quarterback who's serviceable.
Now pressure, gets out of there. Colby's got it from behind. Back at the 45-yard line.
There's no better player who plays with heart and passion and speed than Mad Max Crosby. Wait till you see him this upcoming season.
JT the Brick.
Dodd to throw, split on the blitz, and he wraps him up and holds him up for a sack.
I love the addition of Jack Jones. All the plays he made last year will be a great addition for this team moving forward.
Intercepted down the sideline. Intercepted Jack Jones, and he walks in. Touchdown.
And now,
Raiders! All right, now we're good. Let's get to it.
here's JT the Brick.
Out of the gate, JT on one of my favorite shows of the year. One of my favorite shows of the year, and I am ready to roll. Kind of did this show last night from the Raiders facility, the Raiders schedule release, and we're ready to roll again today on the flagship of the Silver and Black Raider Nation Radio, 9:20 a.m., and on that Raiders fabulous mobile app. This will be a good one. Here's the show. You ready for the show? It's going to be about 20, 25 minutes of me and then you. Okay, that's it. That's the show. It's pretty cool when you can do a show like that. No guest. I don't have this guest, that guest. I cleared everything out for you, the Raider Nation, today. And I got to get you going today. So as I always say, sound off like you got a pair. Get in here and tell us what you think about the schedule, why it's raw, why it's emotional, why it affects you, which is a big deal. It affects you as a fan. As a fan, you buy the tickets. You travel with the team. You go to games, you live and die with the Raider Nation. This means everything to you. And you were disrespected again, which is really a cornerstone of my legacy with the Raider organization. Nothing else. There's been better broadcasters. There'll be better broadcasters than me down the road. But no one will ever defend the Raider Nation anywhere near the way I do, and especially on days like this. So when the schedule comes out, I normally don't like it. I normally don't like it. And I like a lot of things in life. I like music. I like movies. I like a lot of cool things. But the Raiders schedule always amps me up. And it always gets me going. And this one, the same thing. Like everything, there's the good, there's the bad, and there's the ugly. Okay? That's what happens in life with everything. Not everything is great. Not everything is a Picasso. Some people don't like a Picasso. They want a Rembrandt. They don't like it. You look at art two different ways. But when you look at the NFL schedule, you need someone like me who has studied this and have my PhD in NFL schedules, because I learned it over a quarter century ago by people who taught me it the right way. So when the schedule comes out, I often look at this. I look at the bye week. The bye week's very important. I look at, obviously, travel. Travel's very important. I look at, this is a West Coast warm weather team dating back to 1960. They are. And they've won some of their biggest games in the cold, but this is a warm weather team. It's not only are they a warm weather team, they're a dome team. So I look at cold weather games. How many cold weather games? And then I look at primetime games, because I'm a season ticket holder. My tickets need to be more valuable than what I pay for, because I own season tickets. I have the right for my tickets, even though I'm keeping the majority of them and giving some to some family and friends. I want my ticket value to be sufficient to what I paid for, and that would be primetime games. And then I look at rivalries. That's it. Okay, so it's about 6 categories that I look at. Then the schedule comes out, and then I start to go up and down. And we did that last night. I did that along with Eddie Pascal. It's up there on the Raiders YouTube channel if you didn't get a chance to see that. All right, here we go. Let's go this and start dialing now. I don't want to wait for you. I'm sick and tired of waiting for people to react. Let's go. If you know what you want to talk about with this schedule, don't wait 25 minutes. I'm going to go another 20, and my head's about to pop. So get here and get ready to go, so I don't have to come out of the next break wondering where the hell you are. That's a big part of my life now, as my wife tells me to leave the house every day. Go, get out of the house. Go do your show. You're pacing for 2 hours. Go do your show. Well, the only other thing that makes me pace is I want maximum interaction every day. 702-365-9200 on Twitter, X at JT the Brick, and we're live on YouTube now. We got 45 people there already, and they're blowing up the chat. Be a part of this internet YouTube family, JT the Brick YT on YouTube. All right, so the schedule comes out, and they give us the first 2 games on the road. Really? Really? You're going to do that? What, is it a stadium conflict? Are the Stones coming back? Are we doing like an AC/DC show? What's going on here? We got 2 on the road? Why? Why are you giving us 2 on the road? Oh, you want the caveat to that? And 2 on the road against the Harbaugh brothers. Oh, that is really nice. So after the Charger game, John will call Jim. What were the Raider tendencies and all that? We'll have a little Harbaugh booking game. Yeah, I was pretty surprised. Nobody had that. You tell me one person on God's green earth, anywhere from India, anywhere to the bottom of Brazil. You tell me anyone in the world who said, hey, the Raiders are going to open up on the road against both Harbaugh brothers. That would be no one. Even the Harbaugh brothers and their dad who says, who's got it better than us? Nobody. Even he didn't guess that. Even he didn't guess that. Imagine Harbaugh, Grandpa Harbaugh, saying, man, I'm going to come to the first couple of games, the Raider games, because they're playing both my sons. So we open up on the road with 2 games. Can't spin it. Can't spin that. You know, yesterday we were saying, well, you know, you open up with at home, you open up on the road, you get more games at home, whatever. We shouldn't be opening up with 2 games on the road. We shouldn't. We built Allegiant Stadium. Okay, I'm not asking to play Thursday night. We didn't make the playoffs. But open it up with 2 on the road? Okay, thanks, Park Avenue. So we get the Chargers coming off a 5-12 year. I want to dip that into the show in the next half hour a few times. I want to dip that in that the Chargers, America's new bandwagon, had 5 wins last year, lost Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams. But, okay, I have no problem opening up with the Chargers at home. No problem. For me, it's the Super Bowl. For me, maybe not you. For Raider Nation, I'm calling it the Telesco Bowl, whatever you want. I'm ready to play that game today. I'm ready to play that game today because the last time we played them, we put 63 on their ass. 63 on their ass and fired their coach. Okay, you want us to open up there? We haven't been good there. We haven't been good there. We want to go in there, Raider Nation, with our Modelos, acting like we own the place, and we kind of do. There'll be more Raider fans there than Charger fans. And get ready for that propaganda, because the Chargers pay for propaganda from local radio hosts to lie and say, oh, no, that's not the case. Let me show you the season ticket numbers. No, the Charger fans right now are willing to sell you their tickets. You're going to have to pay for it. It's L.A. It's the number 2 media market. But if you're a Raider fan, they're already put the tickets up. Go buy them. Go buy them. Just go get them now. You do not want to wait for this ticket. Go get it. So we open up with the Chargers. I'm good with that. Tough game. Are they going to be better with Jim Harbaugh? I have the ultimate respect for Jim Harbaugh. He's an unbelievable coach. He hasn't coached in the NFL in a long time, and he's never coached this roster. He's never coached this roster. I'll take him week 1. I would have liked it at home, but for whatever reason, they wanted us to open up with 2 on the road. Okay, so there's the Chargers. 5-12, we open up at the Chargers. Hey, Raider Nation, no complaints here. You got to go beat a 5-12 team. For me, if you look at every game, you can debate this is the most important one. You can. You can have that debate that this game might be the most important one because it's going to set the tone. Antonio Pierce, Compton, Inglewood, in the hood, always up to no good. We got to go win that game. We have to win that game. Oh, we don't have to win. No, we got to win that game. That's going to be my focus of the offseason. All right, let's move on. That is a 105 CBS game. And then week 2 at the Ravens. You want the good news or the bad news first, Bobby? The good news is it's not a cold weather game. Good news is it's not cold weather. Bad news is Baltimore, it's their home opener, and they have 9 days off to prepare. 9 days off. As we have to travel cross country, they'll have 9 days to prepare for the Raiders. Now, and here's what's even weirder than that. We all want Baltimore to beat Kansas City, right? All of us. We're all on the same page. So we're going to root for Baltimore on Thursday Night Football as we have our Modelos and our chips and salsa going, rooting for it. And then you have to instantly snap out of it. And then you're going to have to come out and say, well, now we got to beat the Ravens. You can beat the Ravens. The Ravens are going to be a heavy favorite in that game. They're going to be a heavy favorite in that game. That's a tough game for the Raiders. Now, week 2, you got 2 back-to-back games on the road. You can arguably say the toughest game of the year is at Baltimore. Kansas City probably, but we beat Kansas City last year. So there you go. That's a 10 a.m. start. I know a lot of people freak out about the 10 a.m. start, but that's what it is. You got to travel. They'll be ready for that. Week 3, our home opener against the Panthers. I love this. Here's why. We don't need to promote our home opener. We're good. We're good. We don't need to run around with billboards saying the season's open. By week 3, after being on the road twice, I would rather get our easiest opponent out of the way. Now, some Raider Nation is going to tell you I'd rather have that down the road. No, we need a win. All right, we need a win. Yeah. We got to beat the Chargers and we got to beat Carolina. And God forbid if we don't, we got to have Carolina and we got to put them down. Now, I can't imagine this, but a buddy called me yesterday and said, what's it going to be like if we're in the middle of the Carolina game 0-2 and it's 14-all at the half? I said, whoa, don't manifest that. I'm the opposite. I think we could be 1-1 or whatever it's going to be, and we can go into that game and pound them. Carolina at home, 105 on CBS. That's our home opener. I have no problema with that. No problem. Week 4, Browns at home. Number 1 defense. We got Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby. They got Myles Garrett. They got a better secondary. They got a better team on defense, but we're not too far off from them. We're not. Our defense is kind of in the conversation with them. This is going to be a big one with Deshaun Watson. What Deshaun Watson are we going to get? Are we going to get the one who went through shenanigans and has been a really bad player for a couple of years? Or is he finally going to have an MVP type of season? Before Deshaun Watson got in trouble for his extracurricular masseuse issues, he was an MVP candidate. And that's why he got the largest contract at the time in the history of the sport. He's a really athletic, good player. I like our chances against the Browns. They will buy your tickets if you even sniff and put your ticket online. If you even put it up there, and I'm defending the Raiders hard on this. No one told me, and no one's told me what to say on the inside, but I'm going to say this again. If you put your tickets up for sale against Cleveland, they will go in 30 seconds. They want to come. Their dog pound wants to be here. They travel well. That to me is a pick'em game. They were 11-6. Remember, they weren't 13-4. Okay, they're not a problem with this game. There's some games I'm going to fly right over. We got to sweep the Broncos. We've won 8 in a row. That's going to come to an end at some point, just because the law of averages. So I think we're much better than the Broncos, but everyone, one time we beat them last year? 17-16, I think was the score. And we beat them, and that was the home opener last year for Denver. And Jimmy Garoppolo, remember, he slid in bounds. He slid in bounds to end the game. I went nuts when they did that. So at Denver, October 6th, that's a Fox game at 105. I wonder if Tom Brady will get that game. I'm serious. I didn't go per week, but there's going to be some Tom Brady games here, who's partial owner of our champion Aces here. Week 6 versus the Steelers at home. Oh, okay. Now JT gets going. Now we get going. Sorry it took so long. Why isn't that game national? This is the problem I have with Park Avenue and their lollipop Jet schedule, where the Jets are going to have 6 primetime games before week 11. The problem with the league now is they don't respect the rivalries as much as they do. And what I mean by rivalries, I mean the rivalries of the Raiders, Steelers, the Bears, Packers, all of that. This one was handed beautifully to Roger Goodell and his staff to put this on Sunday Night Football. This was the Raiders' one chance to host Sunday Night Football as a welcome pat on the back for pulling off one of the greatest Super Bowls of all time in a city that should have the Super Bowl every year, but you already knew that. I thought that this was the first big miss on the schedule. Look, they screwed us with 2 games on the road to open up. That's open for debate. But week 6 versus the Steelers, a 10-win team, the rivalry with the silver and black, 105 on CBS. The league looked at it and said, we're not giving it. We're not giving you nothing. We're not giving you Monday night. We're not giving you Sunday night. I'm surprised by that. This is a marquee game. Steeler fans are coming. They love buying your tickets too. There'll be terrible towels. You remember the last time they were here? There were a lot of terrible towels. Someone told me in the building yesterday, maybe they get fatigue. They've been out here a few times. Maybe Steeler fans, like I already been out there to Vegas. I saw the stadium. I don't have to go. But you know how many Steeler fans there are on the West Coast? You know how many Steeler fans are in the state of Arizona? You know how many Steeler fans are in the state of California? They're just going to drive over. So the Steelers are coming there. I really thought that was a miss. I thought it was a miss. That should have been a primetime game early, and it wasn't. Then at the Rams, week 7, no issue. At the Rams are 9-8. We're separated by 1 game. I think they'll probably be a favorite at home, but I think the Raiders can go in there and win. Remember the Baker Mayfield game where he went the distance and ended up winning the game? It's week 7 at the Rams. So both of our LA games are early. Okay, so both of the LA games on the road, short travel, is week 1 and week 7, taking on the Rams. And remember, the Rams don't have Aaron Donald, their best player, right? We have Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz. If you look at the Rams roster toe-to-toe, the Raiders is just as good. The advantage that they have, they got Puka as a wide receiver. They got a good quarterback in Matthew Stafford. I'll give them that, but I think that's a game that the Raiders can win on the road. Then we move to week 8 versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are at home. Where's Monday Night Football? Where's Sunday Night Football here for us there? Nothing? Well, we beat them on Christmas. They're coming here. Okay, when we look at this, 125 on CBS, nothing. Hey, Raider fans, go, no, this is just a 125 game. Just a 125 game. We got nothing for you. We don't got Sunday or Monday. We got nothing. Chiefs at home, October 27th. Oh, I figured this one out on my own on the show yesterday. This is our Halloween game. Yes, this is cool. Halloween. Raider Nation coming in. Now, we know Kansas City brings a lot of fans here. Maybe they have a little fatigue too. Everyone get their Raider costumes on. Everybody paint their face. That's our Halloween game. The Chiefs were only 11-6 last year, Bobby. They won 14 games. They won 15. The last game they lost was to the Las Vegas Raiders. They lost that game. So we get them there. Another non-playoff game. Week 9 at the Bengals. I'm excited about this one. A non-cold weather game, November 3rd. No ice, no sleet. Might rain, I don't know, but it's not going to be a cold weather game. Bobby Romanski doesn't have to go pack 70 coats with double liners there. We play Cincinnati. You don't even know if Joe Burrow is going to be healthy. No one knows if he's going to be healthy or not. Tough game. Raiders will be a big underdog in that game. But I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I can't sit here and blank and moan about every game. Come on. I can't sit here and tell you, oh, my God, we got screwed on this game, that game. No, we're fine. We're playing the Bengals. But as one Raider executive told me yesterday, man, that's another game. That's a game before our bye week. Man, we got a lot of tough games before the bye week. The bye week is week 10. I'm fine with that. Last year it was week 13. They screwed us. There was no bye week last year. What are you talking about? Guys were exhausted. Guys were playing. Max Crosby had an inflamed knee you didn't know about. Last year, they didn't give us a bye week. They didn't. It wasn't a bye week. It was at the end of the year. It was a joke. I like the bye week this week. I'm fine with that. We come out of the bye week. Now, this is where it gets interesting with my opinion and analysis on this. This is something I learned decades ago when I learned about the bye week and the schedule release. If coming off the bye week we were playing at home, we wouldn't have to get on a plane. So follow me here. We'd come off the bye week. Players would either stay here or go home, see their families, come back, get into practice that week, sleep in their own beds. No, we're going to make the players come off the bye week, and we're going to ask them to travel to Miami, one of the longest trips of the year. All right, I'm okay with that. You don't want to play Miami in September. That was our big break. One of our check marks, the good, the bad, the ugly, is we don't have to play at Miami in the humidity, hardcore humidity of September. That'll be a good game. I think this will probably be the most traveled to Raiders game of the year. I'll get back to why momentarily with that. So a week 11 at Dolphins. Week 12, we get the Broncos at home. Right around, that's a good game. November 24th. The Broncos at home. Broncos were 8-9 last year. Sound familiar with us? We swept them again. Week 12, we get the Broncos. So what's cool about the Broncos this year, last year was the first game and last game, right? We don't have the Broncos like that again. We're going to see the Broncos. We'll be done with the Broncos by week 12. Now, when we get into this conversation of what game, I'm not going to do we'll win that game, lose that game, win. I don't do that type of radio, but you do. If you want to do that, we got to sweep the Broncos. If I told you that by week 12, going into 13, we had 2 wins against the Broncos and 1 versus Carolina, that's 3, okay? And you need 10. You only need 7 on the whole schedule. You got to sweep the Broncos. You got to beat Carolina. You got to beat Carolina. You got to sweep the Broncos if you want anything. If you want anything this year in a reward with this schedule at the end of the year with all the home games, we should be happy about having home games late. The home games won't mean anything unless you beat Carolina and sweep the Broncos. You get it? You get it. I know you do. You understand that. So let's sweep the Broncos and beat Carolina. Let's have 3 on the board. Vegas only has us winning 6.5. So they think it's 6. We'd be halfway to our season total if you believe the bet noses. Week 13 at the Chiefs. This is the Amazon Black Friday game. Q Myers is big on this topic, rightfully so. Why don't we get Black Friday at home? The Death Star, silver and black. Why don't we move the Chief game up where we're playing the Chiefs early? Why don't we get this game on Amazon Prime? Anybody want to answer that? Why they get that game at home? Chiefs got a tough schedule. Ours is actually harder because we have to play the Chiefs twice. I get that. So we get the Amazon Prime game, Bobby, that I guess counts for a primetime game, even though it kicks off at noon local time here. So that is our Black Friday game that we have. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. Week 14 at the Bucs. So we're going to play on a Friday, November 29th. We don't play till Sunday, December 8th. Feels like a mini bye week, doesn't it? It kind of is. So it's like having a Thursday game and not playing till the following Sunday. We better take that momentum. But instead of playing at the Chiefs, here's where I'm good. Here's where I'm real good. Instead of playing at the Chiefs and sleeping in our bed, no, they're making us fly to Tampa. So we don't, that mini bye week that I told you about, we don't have that mini bye week. They took it because they're making us fly back to Florida again on one of the longer trips a year instead of playing at home and doing that after Kansas City. So that's back-to-back on the road. All right. Here's my encore. Okay, all great artists come out for their encore. How bleeping dare you give us one primetime game in our building against the Atlanta Falcons? How dare you do that to Mark Davis, the legacy of Al Davis, Mrs. Davis, and the brand of the silver and black. This is not a rivalry. This is no rivalry. These teams have no history really against one another. And I just gave you examples of the Cleveland Browns, right? Red Right 88. Gave you examples of the Immaculate Deception. Put the Steelers on Monday night. Put the Browns on Monday night. No, we're going to give you Atlanta with an asterisk next to it. So when I took out my binoculars and then I put them down from my microscope, I also saw an asterisk there, which means they could flex out of the game. And they don't have to flex out of the game because of the Raiders. So let's just, for this open conversation, say we got one game, because the Amazon Prime game's not in our stadium, and I don't consider that prime time. It's on at bleeping noon. Give me a break. Don't tell me that's prime time. The prime time game we got is against Atlanta at home. We have no history with them, no rivalry. Means nothing to everybody. And if Atlanta and us could be here, but let's just say, because we're on the flagship, we want to win here. Let's say Atlanta sucks and they don't have a good year and they flex out of that game. And you get the email alert. I'm sorry, we're flexing out of our only Monday night game because Atlanta's only got 5 wins and we're going to flex out of that game. How nice is that of the league? This is where my rant is wrapping up. This is where I'm going crazy because the league missed. The Park Avenue boys and gals cared more about getting Aaron Rodgers on as many primetime games as he could. I have no problem with the Niners and the Chiefs playing in primetime and all that. The Chargers, whatever. This is our primetime game. This is what you're giving me, huh? This is the gift you're giving the Las Vegas Raiders in the media market that just gave you the Super Bowl, that gave the owners hundreds of millions of more because this market is flourishing now. It's a beautiful market. The NFL owners love it. They take their wives in private jets here. They dine at the finest restaurants, and you're giving us the Atlanta game on Monday Night Football at the end of December. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Now, what you want to thank you, Roger? December 22nd, Jaguars at home. No problem. No problem with the Jaguars at home. You know, what am I going to say about the Jaguars? Oh, no. They took my hurricanes and cocktails away. The famous JT the Brick Party on Bourbon Street. Oh, no. Don't tell me they put that in between Christmas and New Year's and the Sugar Bowl. Don't tell me they just told the Raider Nation, who has to pay for Christmas presents, travel to Vegas for the games, have budgets, year end. You're giving us New Orleans on December 29th, you freaking scoundrels. You couldn't have gave us the Derek Carr game in October or November. You got to put it up against the Sugar Bowl or a college bowl game. You got to put it up against New Year's Eve. Oh, go look for a hotel room in New Orleans now after the week of Christmas, heading into New Year's Eve at the college football hub, and go ask every Raider fan to go get a ticket now for that game. Oh my God, did they swing and miss on this one? I might still go. I think you might still go. Could they have made it any more difficult for us to have our Mardi Gras, to have our Raider Nation take down the entire French Quarter with thousands of people going up and down, and now you got wives and husbands going, I don't know. I got to pay for Christmas, man. I got to fly to see my grandmother on Christmas. Now you want me to go there. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for nothing, NFL. Oh, NFL, you couldn't have made something out of Derek Carr versus the Raiders? You couldn't have thrown that up with a little primetime sprinkle? With a little Bayou Cajun sauce on that? You couldn't have made that a little primetime? Derek Carr and revenge game? Put that up on a primetime? No. They just parked that at the end of the year. And then the end of, then we get the Chargers. We get the Chargers for the last game of the year, which probably, we had the greatest game ever played at Allegiant Stadium is when we eliminated the Chargers from the playoffs. Remember that? The greatest game ever? Greatest game ever. One of the greatest regular season or most important games ever played. Came down to the last second to change the playoffs. Remember Pittsburgh, the Chargers and us, and we end up winning, and we went to the playoffs for the first time in Vegas history. And one of the teams, either hopefully it's the Chargers. That game probably won't matter the way it should because it's the last game of the year. But I'm okay with that. We get the Chargers beginning and the end. Last year we had Denver the beginning of the end. So I'll get out to you now. That's 702-365-9200. Monologue brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. Great place to watch the Raider games. If you don't have a ticket, head on out to PTs. also partner of the Golden Knights. Is the schedule difficult? They're all difficult. We have the 8th, according to NFL, the NFL, which owns NFL.com. We have the tied for 8th most difficult schedule. The Chargers are at 27th, and they should. They won 5 games. Our schedule is always difficult because we have to play the Chiefs twice, and other teams don't have to play the Chiefs once, let alone twice. But I'm ready to conquer the schedule. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. I'm not going to give you the season total and what I think they're going to win or lose, but I feel good about the schedule. I just wanted to point out the utter disrespect the league has for the Raider brand and the global brand and the ability to market this team on more primetime games. A couple of years ago, they gave us 5 primetime games. I was thrilled. This year, they really just gave us 1. I don't count that Black Friday game as anything. That's a money grab by the bleeping league. That's a money grab by the league. Don't tell me that's a primetime game. Primetime game is Sunday or Monday Night Football at Allegiant Stadium. Thanks for nothing. You did nothing for us on that. You actually screwed us, giving us Atlanta, which is probably the least rival team in Raiders history. Chris in West Oakland absorbing the schedule. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, JC, a lot to absorb about this. And, first off, you're right about the one primetime game we have, Atlanta. Here's my problem with the NFL in general. Number one, again, it's a joke that with some of the marquee games on the schedule, that's the one you're giving us to on a Monday night. But, JT, say I'm a fan. You know me. I'm a college basketball coach. It's hard for me to get to games. A lot of times I'll fly in the morning, I'll fly out. Say I'm flying in Monday morning for I've got airline flight Southwest to come in from Oakland on Monday. Oh, I get the news the week before or when it's too late to change. Oh, by the way, we flexed that schedule to Sunday. Just shows you that the NFL doesn't give a crap about its fans in general. Raider fans even more so. And I don't do schedule radio. You know me. I'm not going to sit here break down this is a win, that's a win, blah blah blah. I will say this though, going back for years and years, there's a long history where you can call it conspiracy or not, of curious treatment by the Raiders, and this is just another example. Again, how many times have we opened with back-to-back games on the road, or even if we get them at home? It always seems to be 2 teams that played in the conference championship game the week before. Let's go back to the first ever game the Houston Oilers played in Tennessee. Guess who the opponent was? The Oakland Raiders. First ever game the Cleveland Browns played. The Baltimore Ravens after moving from Cleveland. That'd be the Oakland Raiders. Time and time again, we seem like we go to Kansas City on a short week. When Pat Bowlen was the head of the scheduling committee of the NFL when he was the owner of the Broncos, there was a 7-year period where 6 out of 7 years the Raiders played the Broncos coming off of their bye. So while I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I definitely think there's something in there when it comes to screwing this team. And the biggest disappointment I had was just like you said yesterday, JT, when the schedule came out, or you said earlier today, New Orleans. You mean to tell me December 29th, not only is that game not prime time, you're right. The brand of the Raiders, that's a throwaway game to the NFL. Sunday afternoon, the right before New Year's Eve, the lack of respect, not just to the Raider organization, but what they show to our fans is just nonstop over the years. Let's go back to 2019. All the great rivalries the Oakland Raiders had, who do they give us in our final game at the Coliseum? The Jacksonville Jaguars. Not to mention in the final 3 years in Oakland, they took a home game away from us every single year playing one of these worthless games in England. I know it's not worthless. I know the money. But for a fan base that was losing its team to take one of our precious home games away every year is something I'll still never forgive the NFL for. So, again, we can talk about the schedule, what it's going to play out over the course. But to me, this is just another example of the NFL screwing the Raiders and their fan base over and over again. And you're right. You mean to tell me the Steelers, the Chiefs, we couldn't have found one of these games on a Sunday night? It's a complete joke. Very disappointed that I won't be able to go to New Orleans because, as you and I know, I spent a few times partying with you on Bourbon Street, but I'd probably have to call the satellite show to tell some of those stories. Anyway, Thanks for giving a voice to Raider Nation, my friend, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, I don't want to kill any road trip for anybody there. I just said that New Orleans could have been great and very ideal, and they went out of their way to give they put no effort into the New Orleans trip. None. They looked at the New Orleans trip and said, Raider Nation loves New Orleans. And again, I don't think there was someone on Park Avenue sitting up at the boardroom table saying to the head of the scheduling, hey, let's screw the Raiders over in New Orleans. No, but we're speaking on behalf of the Raiders and saying, you know, the Raider Nation, it's going to be tough for the Raider Nation on Christmas, post-Christmas, to travel from Oakland, LA, and other parts. You know, everybody around the bayou will probably get there. Open lines. And again, this better be good today. I mean, I'm at wit's end with fans here who are just like blanking and moaning about everything. We want to hear from your voice. We want to hear what you have to say here. We're a caller-driven talk show. I gave you 30 minutes in a monologue without 6 clowns laughing at everything I said wearing a costume. It was all me. We're ready to roll. Let's go. What part of the schedule do you love? What part of the schedule are you pissed off about? That's the topic. That's it. Man, that's it. I got the golf on here. Scotty Scheffler, he's -3 through 4 holes. He is putting on a clinic. He teed off 9 behind Xander Schauffele. Xander Schauffele shot 9 under par, 62. Tony Finau, 65. Thigala, they shot 6 under. Rory McIlroy shot a 66 in the opening round where he's won at Valhalla. This is going to be great golf coming up here. JT, it's scheduled release. We're also on YouTube. I'm trying to break a little YouTube record today. Baby steps every day, but I need you to jump in. Go to YouTube, JT the Brick YT. Get on in there, hit subscribe and like. Everybody in there, hit like, and we'll get it going. And we're excited we're able to do this. We jumped in before the show started, and then when we come back, we'll be able to talk that way. The DeCastroverde brothers have your back. The brothers win. If you get into an accident, call 702-222-9999. The brothers win. The DeCastroverde brothers, my guys. All right, that was a fun monologue. I don't think I was totally negative. I don't think I was totally negative on that. I mean, there were things I didn't like. There were things I like. You know?
Give me, I got one ahead. Ty, you're leading off. You're ready. Okay, Bob?
Injured in a crash, call Salmon Ash at 702-820-1234. That's 702-820-1234. Salmon Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Treasure Island has the best food and entertainment this city has to offer. Now open, the Cove Bar and Arcade, a brand new on-site gaming hotspot featuring a wide variety of games, food, and beverages. It's going to be a dynamic hub for guests to let loose and have fun. And if you're looking for a luxurious and intimate experience, be sure to visit the Alexandra Spa and Salon. This hidden gem on the strip offers a variety of spa treatments, including massages, wax, facials, haircuts, manicures, pedicures.
I don't know.
Come visit Treasure Island and experience all they have to offer. Treasure Island, where parking is always free.
This is JT for Grimaldi's New York-style coal-fired quick oven pizza. 4 locations in the Valley, Summerlin in Boca Park, on the Strip at the Palazzo, Southwest Las Vegas on Rainbow, and Green Valley on Eastern Avenue. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had.
Your Las Vegas Aviators are taking on the San Diego Padres AAA affiliate, those feisty El Paso Chihuahuas this week. So catch this, Friday, May 17th, it's a fun and fabulous post-game fireworks night. Saturday, May 18th, it's Aviators Friends Night.
All right.
On the iconic Friends couch and pick up a Central Perk mug. And Sunday the 19th, another Fun in the Sun noon game. Aviators baseball.
Lead off with Ty. He's gonna hold forever.
Okay.
That's why life's just better.
Hey, Ty, you're leading off.
Hi, sports fans. It's the Herd. In sports, we often talk about a difference maker. Well, in business, there are difference makers as well. Ford Country in the Valley Auto Mall is one of them. With every new vehicle purchase, you get the Ford Country difference. Free dent, scratch, and windshield repair, and key replacement for a full year. In addition to great service and unbeatable pricing, you get game-changing protection exclusively at Ford Country in the Valley Auto Mall. Check them out online at FordCountryHenderson.com.
The LGBTQ Center of Las Vegas provides a range of health and wellness services.
All right, everybody. Good to see you. Pissed. What is it? It's not a home game, Black Friday. Yeah, I thought Black Friday would have been pretty good here, don't you? Thought Black Friday would have been good. The key to the season offensively is to improve in the red zone. Jesse says, I love starting with the Chargers. Also, one primetime game is a joke. Raider Deb making the Raiders wear white on a Black Friday in KC. Yeah, I'm a little upset. Look, there's no schedule that they could have put out that I would have said, man, I love this schedule. There's no schedule that I would have said, man, I love this schedule. All right. Yeah. I've looked at a lot of the other team schedules too. Pittsburgh schedule's the hardest. 90 people in the live chat. Thank you, everyone. That's kind of a record. That's pretty good, man. It feels good. Feels like more people than just radio. So we like that. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you coming in. And that means a lot to me. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Satisfied customers across the United States put more money in their pocket by going to Give Me the VIN.
All right, this is Antonio Pierce.
Let's get them bought.
Yep.
Right now is the time to go. Sell us your car.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by PT's.
Best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Yeah, I don't think it's more about the heat. It's about team bonding. When I played in the National Football League, we never stayed at our facility. I was used to traveling and going away and kind of bunkered up, us and 90 or 85 players at the time, whatever it was, and team bonding, getting together, getting to know one another, get away from all the distractions. All about ball, just ball. You know, I told us I want us to be the tightest group of Raiders that hopefully this organization has seen, and that's what we're going to grow and build on and get that physical toughness that we want to build on in training camp. And, yeah, does it help that it's a little cooler? No doubt. But more importantly, you know, I think it's just good for our team to bond, to get away and just focus on us.
That's Antonio Pierce talking about going to Southern California, Costa Mesa. JT, as we are back here, we're brought to you by Resorts World. You know, Resorts World has the best theater, arguably, in Vegas. It's brand new. They've had some world-renowned concerts, including Carrie Underwood. When you go to their shows, David Blaine, whenever you come out, you're right there at Doghouse Saloon. You're right there. You can go to Junior's, get the best cheesecake of your life. Great pastrami. You could walk around 8 Cigar Lounge, our friends that are there, Wally's. And then they're opening up more and more retail. They have Mulberry Pizza. The pool is absolutely exceptional. And then every time I go there, they have a new activation. When the rodeo's in town, they do a brilliant job. They have unbelievable deals for locals, for parking, getting in there, and easy access in and out. You can come in via the back of the property, front on the strip. And we just want to remind you that they're a proud partner of our show here on Raider Nation Radio. And we thank Resorts World, one of the best known properties now around the world, based now here in Las Vegas. And people love to go there. And you can go to Doghouse Saloon for Monday Night Football. We only have one Monday Night Football game. So that to me is just a slap in the face, just a slap in the face. But this is, you know, I always do pretty good us against the world radio. You know, I'm pretty dramatic, us against the world. This might be the perfect time for Antonio Pierce. It really is. Look, I buy into all the coaches, all of them. Josh McDaniels, Tom Cable, Dennis Allen, Lane Kiffin, all of them. I want them to win. They come in, I want them to win. If it doesn't work out, we have an open analysis on it. We talk about what went wrong. For Antonio Pierce opening up in Inglewood, he's going to have that place a hornet's nest. I don't know Coach well, but I covered his career as he was a Giant as a player, and I think I know a lot about him. I'm getting to know him now. He will have Raider Nation in Southern California amped up, ready to roll. So it's not going to be like going into Baltimore week 2, going into Los Angeles, right down the road from where he grew up. He'll have the team ready, but the team has to be ready. When you're opening up against the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh and then John Harbaugh, the team's got to be ready. You know, I've been preaching about this. Whatever they're going to do with this 12-man personnel, this 12 personnel, the 2 tight end set, there's no time. Figure it out. Figure it out now. Figure out the routes you're going to run, the exotic plays that can come off of it, the blocking schemes and what you're going to do, because we're going to need those guys, Brock Bauer and Michael Mayer, to grow up pretty quickly and play really well as we open this up. Bobby, we'll go to Ty in Jersey. He's been waiting the longest. Ty, thanks for waiting. We appreciate it. Go ahead.
Raider fan since I was 6 years old. Sat there and watched the schedule drop last night. Watched it on YouTube and everything. And I just got to say, so the thing I'm happy with is I'm happy with where the bye week is. The bye week, we got, week 10. That's right in the middle. I'll take that. Gives our guys time to rest. We play, I think, Kansas City right after that, I believe, I want to say. And right before that, I forget who we play. I forget who the schedule was. But that's a good time. But what ticks me off is, all right, I'm at the Jersey Shore, man. I'm at the Jersey Shore. I look forward to those national games, man.
Yep.
I look forward to seeing it prime time. It's extremely hard on the East Coast to see West Coast games. Okay, just the way it's set up, it's almost impossible to see West Coast games. It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. So many rivalries, like you said, that could be prime time. Raiders versus Steelers, Raiders versus Kansas City. Why would they put us prime time against the Falcons?
No idea. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Oh,
That's the problem. There's no need to put the Falcons, because then you got to say, well, wait a second. Kirk Cousins is that important to the league? That important to the league? Come on.
Seriously.
I mean, it's not like
it's Kirk Cousins.
I think the game that they missed out on for prime time the most was Cleveland. That's the game I think they missed out the most.
The Browns. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm saying that coming from having a grandmother who was a Browns fan. All right. Like, us in the house was just insane. So, like, that's a rivalry that another one that could have been up there. Derek Carr, the Saints. Okay, that's a huge one. If they sit there and they look at all the chats and they look at everything, Twitter, whatever, they will see that one of the biggest things is Raider Nation beefing about Derek Carr. This would be epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah.
And they wait to the end of the season, literally the end of the season. It just makes no sense to me. It makes no sense.
Well, I appreciate it.
I think I'm just tired of the Raiders being disrespected.
Yeah, well, I think they are disrespected. Thanks for the call. And I was thinking about you because I got a call into Phil Villapiano on this, who lives on the Jersey Shore too. And when it comes to East Coast games, so if you're an East Coast Raider fan, which there are a lot of them, right? There's no Giant and Jet game. So the Giants and the Jets came here last year. We're not playing at MetLife. We're not playing at Buffalo. We're not playing at Philadelphia, and we're not playing in Boston at Foxborough. That's a big deal. It's a big region. Big region. Western New York, Raider fans, wherever they are. So where are you going to travel to if you're a Raider fan back east? Well, you can travel to Baltimore. You can do the Baltimore game, and where else? If you're an East Coast Raider fan, you're probably not coming to the Charger game. You're probably not coming to the Ram game. Maybe you're coming to Cincinnati. The Florida fans got a really good chance. We got a lot of fans in Florida, so you got a chance to go to the Dolphins and the Buccaneers. And the New Orleans game, that's the thing that upset me the most, was just the New Orleans game. If you would have told me what's the 1 week you wish the Raiders weren't in New Orleans, I would have said a couple of days after Christmas, December 29th. But you want to be glasses half full on that topic, you could go there for New Year's, right? So you go to the Raiders, you go to the Raider game, and then you stay through New Year's Eve, and you have New Year's in New Orleans. That would be fun. I think that could be pretty cool. I can't do that. I got to come back to work. So, New Orleans, I wish they would have played on Sunday night in New Orleans. I don't think both teams are good enough to get a Sunday night game like that late, but you could have flexed out of it. Stoner dude who just got back from Europe and has been traveling a lot. What do you think of the schedule, my friend?
Well, JT, first of all, this is the first time in a while I've been just excited to be a Raiders fan. The Raiders play. It feels like a Raider team. Piggybacking a little bit about your talk about it, Pierce, and the fact that it's in LA. I mean, they're going to be down there in Costa Mesa, doing training camp. There's going to be a lot of promotion, a lot of hype, and it is a local a home game for us as far as the fan base. So I think opening day is just going to be epic, man. I think the Raiders are just going to take over LA. I'll tell you the day that's circled for me personally, and then me personally, because you asked what it means to us, JT, as far as these games. October 27th, the Halloween game, is on my birthday, that actual day. So for the Chiefs to come here into Vegas and going to that game and hopefully watching the Raiders win that game would just be the ultimate. And it also marks the 1 year anniversary that Antonio Pierce would be the head coach for the Raiders. So I think that's a big one for me. But in general, you got the bye week in the middle.
Mhm.
Do we have any cold games at the end of the season?
No.
We're talking about. Although that's just maybe be a negative situation when it comes to the playoffs. You know, because if we get into the playoffs, we have to go somewhere else, play in the cold. So maybe we can just win as many games as we can, bring it on home to Vegas. I'm just looking forward to the season of being a Raider fan.
Thanks, buddy. Ooh, taking a big one on the way out. So, all right, look, let me say a couple things about what I talked about with Eddie Pascal last night as we jumped in on this. Eddie and I had to go. You know, I had the schedule yesterday a little bit early. No leakage here on this show. And then when Eddie and I got there for our pre-show meeting, we started going over the schedule. And Eddie had a really good point about the gauntlet of like week 7 to 11. The 3 games before the bye week and 1 week after is a big run. I talked to a executive today who told me off the record, not for radio use, that's why I say off the record, that you got to win a lot of games before the bye week. The bye week, it's a hard schedule before the bye week. It is. And not that New Orleans and Jacksonville are going to be easy late, and then the other games that you think you could possibly win. But this schedule, the opponents don't bother me. What bothers the opponents, I knew who the opponents were months ago. That's not why I'm flipping out. I just don't like the fact that they made us open with 2 on the road. I do the pre and post game show. I'm going to be at the Torch for the first time week 3. I don't like that. I'd rather open up at the Torch with Eric Allen. So we'll make the best of it. I'm looking at this column online here that just came up on my screen. Let me see who it's from. It's from Clutch Points. And it was on my homepage, and it says Raiders game-by-game predictions. Oh, no, I can't believe I'm going to do this, Bobby.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. I shouldn't do it. Okay, I'll do a little bit of it. It says week 1 at the Chargers, win. Week 2 at Baltimore, loss. Week 3 at Carolina, win. Week 4 at Cleveland, loss, 2-2. Week 5 at Denver, win. Week 6, Pittsburgh at home, win. 4-2. Week 7 at the Rams, loss, 4-3. Week 8 at Kansas City, loss, 4-5. Week 9 at the Bengals, loss. 4-4 after the Chiefs. Week 9 at the Bengals, lost 4-5 before the bye. It's some article, right? Someone's up there saying 4-5. They might not be too far off. That schedule's tough. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. You're playing the entire AFC North. You better be pretty good. You better be good coming out of camp as we get going here. All right, when we come back, a short one. We'll reset at the top of the hour. It's a good phone call day today. It's good to interact on our YouTube page, JT the Brick YT. I like this. I started this not too long ago, maybe 2.5 months. We got 100 people up there right now. That's nice. That's like a mini radio show. What I want to be able to do is to have a radio show also here on YouTube. So there are days if I'm preempted for a game or at night or something happens, I want to be able to talk about it on YouTube. We're brought to you by Modelo, the #1 beer in America, the fighting spirit of Modelo.
We're going to have to go straight through.
Oh, we're going to go straight through?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, everybody, we got a big break here. We got about a 6-7 minute break. So I'm going to stay on this for about 3 or 4 minutes before I get a water and take a breather for a second, even though I don't take many breaks here. See what we got. Stoner Dude, one of my favorite from Raider Deb. He is one of my favorite friends. I'm thinking the Rams game and head to Vegas the next week for KC. Lencho. Yeah, Dan says I'm going to be blocked here eventually. Why? Because I'm going to blast truth. Dan, you can talk about whatever you want. If you turn out to be an idiot and you turn out to be just a complete a-hole and wise ass, I will love to block your ass into oblivion. If you can be cool and hang out here and have fun, because this is my life and this is what I do, and I get to block whoever the blank I want. And I really don't block a lot of people unless they do something first that is so stupid, and then they do it again and again, and then I go, let's make them disappear. And everybody who disappears never comes back. They all go back into obscurity. So if I were you, I'd just tell the truth, have fun, talk Raiders, and be cool about it. And if you're not, you'll be gone like you never existed. How's that? I'm not doing this at my age, doing it 27 years to deal with trolls on any of my social media. Because every single one I've blocked or put in timeout, I've never met them, never seen them again, and never heard from them again. So that's the message there, Dan. Act accordingly. Do what you want to do. I'm not here to police you. You have fun. Okay, thanks. Yeah, Corey's saying, appreciate your tweet on how hard it is to find golf. Well, you had to have, I had it today. My sons have ESPN Plus, so I had it streaming up there. Man, Xander Schauffele, 9 under. Holy shit, what a round that is. LAX game says 11-6. Front half of the schedule looks really rough. So let's get into how could the Raiders be 11-win team? They're going to have to win games they're not supposed to win. That's it. I mean, you got to pick. I gave you Carolina, a split against the Chargers, 2 Denver wins. That's 4. There's games like Cleveland that the Raiders are going to be an underdog at home. They're going to be at Allegiant Stadium and an underdog. You got to win that, right? You got to split with Kansas City. We beat Kansas City last year, but I don't think you could go around and say, well, we're going to split with them. Yeah, I think splitting with Kansas City should now be the norm. Should now be the norm for this team if they're improving. But, that's going to be tough to do. It's never easy to beat them. Raider Ryan back, my guy. Preach it, JT. Yeah, Raider Ryan, when we were working together, we didn't have a block button, but we didn't have social media either. Yes, DB Cooper says we have to win games we shouldn't win. Well, give me a couple of those games in the chat. Give me, other than Kansas City, and I'm assuming splitting with the Chargers. If we win that first game against the Chargers, we're going to sweep the Chargers. Let me remind you that. No, it's hard to win on the road in LA at SoFi. I don't think we've won there, right? Is that correct? We haven't won at SoFi. We haven't beat the Chargers at SoFi, and we lost to the Rams. So we got to get off the snide and win. Joe thinks the Raiders could beat Baltimore early on. Baltimore lost both coordinators, most of their backfield. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and predict the Baltimore win. I'd like to see them win, but that's going to be a real tough one. Adam said we got to beat Pittsburgh. 100%. 100%. You're right. Got to go out and beat Pittsburgh. And can you split against Pittsburgh and Cleveland? The other big thing I want to say here is I have the schedule in front of me. Look at the schedule if you get a chance. I think the Raiders, if they're going to make the playoffs, have to win 5 home games minimum. So they have to go 5-3 at home in 8 games. 4-4 won't cut it because the road schedule is too tough. So you got to win 5. You got to win 5 at home, and I think that's doable. I think it's doable for the Raiders to win 5 at home. I really do.
Sunday afternoons are made for baseball, and this week's game features the Padres.
See, Dan Vegas saying Lincoln Kennedy, our friend, has an IQ advantage of AP by 40 points. So he's talking shit about the head coach on my live feed, and I work for the team. So, Dan, that's warning number 1. Dan Vega, that's no warning number 1. And again, I'd really like to block you right now. He says, but I love AP. Don't get that twisted. Yeah, that's really cool. Ripping on the head coach's IQ. There you go. LAX games, I think the Raiders have a good chance if they are 4-5 by the bye week. What's that? Mm-hmm.
Hey, John, you'll need off. Number 2, give me 5%.
Finlay Service Manager Tony Smith is now the new general manager.
I'm liking the Yankees, man. Judge hit a home run yesterday that landed in the upper deck. It was one of the big ones. Brooks Koepka, -4. Nice.
Start with number 3.
Yeah, I am. My wife said she had a great line. It's like you're running study hall. That's a great line by my wife. I'm running study hall, my chat. It's like study hall when you're the guy who's at study hall and you got all the guys here and gals. I love it, man. I love this YouTube live stream. Bucket of Modelo's from Giuseppe. Dan Vega says, I'm an Army Ranger. I don't take warnings like tards. You use the word retard a lot for some reason, which is a word you shouldn't use. I love the military, Dan. I used to host military night and took calls from Afghanistan and Iraq. So you're not going to get a more pro-military radio host than me. James, today is your 58th birthday. Is that true, James? James Farrell, you're 58 today. Happy birthday. Are you a 1965 guy like me? Good job.
You'll get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter because Rhino Shield has a 25-year warranty, and we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield Shane.
Oh, so we got a few more minutes, Bobby?
About a minute and a half.
Minute and a half. Good. Give me a second.
Hey, it's Chris Fox. Well, if you went to thechrisfox.com last week, you found out what my secret gig is. I'm a Las Vegas realtor with Simply Vegas, and I have been. I'm part of a real estate team with over 22 years of experience right here in Las Vegas. And the Las Vegas market is on the move. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, give me a call, 702-419-4346. Let's make the next move yours, 702-419-4346. Or go to thechrisfox.com. I want to be your trusted Las Vegas realtor. Simply Vegas, broker number 1000960.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is a rich, full-flavored Pilsner-style lager, delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
Dad! Come on! Over here! Look at this, Dad! Over!
Whoa. The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing!
even the sky has
Remember, I'm going to Pearl Jam.
I know you wouldn't do it.
All right, I'm back. Giuseppe says, JT, did you ever meet Dave Casper? Probably 100 times or 75 times, all the time. Who's the Raider most likely to get a new contract extension? That's a good one. Kuntz, Diablo, or Merrick. Wow, I think you can make a case for all of them. I think the one that's the most important of all of them. I like Diablo. He's so athletic. If he can take the next step with his athleticism, his body type, man.
It's time for JT the Brick.
I'm rolling today. Vegas is the sports and entertainment capital of the world. No debate.
Every day we have the ability to talk Raiders, and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about this time of year. There's never an off season in the Raider Nation. I've done this rodeo before. Do we all agree?
Here we go again. Hey, girls. JT the Brick.
We want to put guests and callers on the radio who can make an impact. We're going to talk sports, all different types of sports, because we do a sports talk show. We have the best fans in all of sports calling this show for over a quarter century. We hope that remains the same whenever you want to pick up the phone. Enjoy everything we do, and please always feel welcome to call in and to tweet and to be a part of the show. It's Big Boy Radio. Are you with me? What do you got? You, the Raider Nation, have an opinion. Use the phone like a weapon.
And now,
This is completely BS.
here's JT the Brick.
All right, we're back. Hour number 2 of the show. Imagine, Bobby, if every show was this easy and this good, we could just every day come in here and talk about a schedule release. I mean, this is like Christmas here, and we're just having a good time in May 18th, and we haven't even done summertime radio yet, man. Summertime radio is coming here. So these are the days that I cherish. I like all the days here, but these are the days I like because it's important content. It's raw. It's emotional. And fans should be, every fan has an opinion on this. Certain days, I don't know if a fan has an opinion on everything I'm saying. That's why I like to mix it up. But today, I know everybody's interested in the Raiders schedule because it has an effect on you. Pittsburgh has a brutal schedule. So we're sitting here talking about the Raiders schedule. And if you joined us in the first hour, I'd sound like I was pretty upset about the 2 on the road, one primetime game. They say 2 primetime games. It's really 1. It's Monday Night Football in Atlanta. That to me would have been the last game I would have put on Monday Night Football, or second to last, but they decided to do that. Listen to the Steelers' final 8 games. Listen to this, where some have said it's the hardest final 8 games in NFL history. And I think it is. Here we go. Ready for this one? The Steelers play the Ravens, at the Browns, at Bengals, Browns at home, at Eagles, at Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. I mean, that is insanity. So the Steelers are going to have a really difficult time navigating that schedule down the stretch. We got to get the Steelers, everybody, because the Steelers back end of their schedule should probably knock them out of the playoffs, and the Raiders can't afford to lose to a non-playoff team here. All the other games, the Aaron Rodgers stuff, getting all the primetime games with the Jets, that bothers me a bit. That's a popularity contest. The Jets haven't been good forever, so why do they get 6 primetime games before 11? They get it because of one player, Aaron Rodgers. One player. Okay. So Aaron Rodgers is so polarizing, and let's not forget it's the number 1 market. It's New York. It is the number 1 market. It delivers ratings more. But they get a lot of games. Sunday Night Football. We don't have a Sunday Night Football game. Let me tell you some of the teams. Follow me here. Some of the teams that'll be playing hosting or opposing on Sunday Night Football. The biggest TV show in America is Sunday Night Football. We're not on it. They left us out. Here's some of the teams that are there. Bears week 2 at the Texans. Bears. Falcons against Kansas City. They get that at home. Okay, let's go through some other teams. The Giants. The Giants host the Cowboys. The Giants host the Bengals. The Giants, we beat them last year, right? Yeah. We had a better record than the Giants last year. Yeah. They get a Sunday night game. Oh, the Jets, they're at the Steelers. Did we beat the Jets last year? Oh, we did. We did. We had a better record than the Jets, right? They're on Sunday Night Football. That's a good example of the game. The Steelers-Jets, I think that's week 7, Sunday night. Jaguars are on Monday Night Football. Okay? Colts are on Monday Night Football. The Colts are playing the Jets on Sunday Night Football, week 11, and we didn't get a Sunday night game. Colts at the Jets. We're not as good as that, I guess. Oh, week 14, the Chargers are at the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. Didn't the Chargers win 5 games? Yeah. Dead last, right? Dead last. Look at that one in there, too. All right. So, if you don't think we got screwed by the schedule makers, I don't think we got screwed to the point where we should be furious, but we didn't get respect. As one executive told me in the building, we didn't get enough respect for our brand and our following and how we've delivered on ratings. Raiders are a good TV show. So that's it. That's all I really have to say. I went pretty hard on this. I'm not going to blow a gasket hour number 2. I'd rather hear from you, and then we'll see what happens. So I am okay with the schedule. Let me give you 1 or 2 big takeaways. Big takeaways. I believe, and this will get clipped by someone, so make sure we get this right. This is going to get clipped and put on some podcast. I believe the only chance the Raiders have to make the playoffs is they have to win 5 home games at a minimum. They have to win 5 of their 8 home games. All right, everybody? We good with that? Can't go 4-4 at home with this road schedule and tell me you're going to make the playoffs. Don't tell me the Raiders are going to get the wild card if we don't win 5 games at home. Now, what are the 5 wins at home? Carolina, either Cleveland or Pittsburgh. That's 2. We split with Kansas City, right? So I'm not going to put Kansas City on this list. Denver at home, November 24th. We have to win that one. Atlanta, we'll win that on Monday Night Football. That's our biggest game of the year. And then we have to either beat the Jaguars or the Chargers at home, and we'll do that. We'll be in one of them. So that's 5. That gets us to 5. And then the road schedule where we have 9 games, we're going to have to come up with another 5, but it doesn't matter if we don't get it done at home. So that's one big takeaway for me. We have to be able to do that. And then we better be pretty good before our bye week, because after the bye, which is week 10, at Miami, Denver, at Kansas City, at Tampa, Falcons, Jaguars, at New Orleans, Chargers at home. If we're in contention, the season ticket holders of the team, that means we're in contention at the bye week. Because a lot of people have the Raiders 4-5 at the bye week thinking that's good. I mean, we haven't dropped off the face of the earth where we think 4-5 is good. But I notice there's a lot of Raider fans saying if we can go 4-5 at the bye week, then get on a roll there. I think that'd be a little too late. You're going to have to win a couple more games than that. I'm optimistic because I think the Raiders are a good team. I think their roster's better than they're getting credit. And that's why it's going to be very interesting to see how this team plays out. All right, we're going to get out to John in Phoenix. Bobby, we'll start off with him in Phoenix on the Raiders mobile app. What's happening, John?
Hey, JT. I just want to say I've been listening to you for many, many years. I'm 65 years old. I can probably say that I probably listen to you more than probably half of your audience, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to you across the nation through many, many years.
Thank you.
But you know what? Being a Raider fan and being locked into the Bay Area, you know, I also listen to KMVR and all of that kind of stuff. But it's just great to know that we have a fine radio man at the helm serving the Raider Nation. And I think people will come to know and see you and hear you and will appreciate what you bring along with all the other people that are on the radio show going forward. Now, that being said, JT, I'm going to say that I agree with you with a lot about the Raiders' schedule, but I will also say this, that the Raiders, you know, they have to earn their way to the respect that the NFL will give them. They're not going to give it to them. They gave it to them last year simply because I think they were hosting the Super Bowl, and they probably said, you know what, we're going to promote this because it's going to give us more money and da-da-da-da-da-da. But as far as the Raider brand and all the things that you talked about, I concur. They don't give a jack about it, but when we start to win, the Raider Nation all across the country and all over the place will start to come out of the woodwork, and then we demand, or not demand so much, as that they will realize that they have to put us on the prime time schedule. And you know what? As far as the schedule concerned, here's what it is. The Raiders either, you know, they have to step up. They have to win the games that they say that they're not going to do. I looked at the line. And the Raiders are only favored in a couple of games, but they're within 2 or 3 points and quite a few others. So that tells you that we're right there. You know, in other words, we're not like the overwhelming underdogs that have to show the people, you know, oh my gosh, we're going to beat. No, we're right there. We just have to come through, and we have to put everything together. Now, JT, that's pretty much the topic that you had for the day. But you know, I'm going to add this thing here, and this is really upsetting me. And this about the NFL thinking that they have to get involved in all sorts of the political aspect of this. What is with this Harrison Butker thing? You know, they have now unleashed a statement condemning a guy who was talking to a predominant, predominantly, it was a Catholic commencement, you know, and he was giving his opinion, and they felt it was necessary to make a statement, a negative about what he said.
Oh, I would too. If I was the league, I thought some of his comments were very rude and outlandish and very controversial, and he's an employee of the NFL. So, yeah, when you go to a commencement speech and you speak to the women who were there the way he did, I don't support that. I'm not going to talk a lot of politics on this show. I'm not going to get into exactly what he said, but I'm all for that. I'm all for that. I'm for freedom of speech. I make my living speaking. I'm for freedom of speech. I've proven that my whole career. But when you act like an idiot at a commencement speech, you don't have the right. You don't have the right to do that in front of parents and kids who are graduating. And it's the best most important day of their life. I don't agree with that at all. So again, that's really not something I want to explore a lot on this broadcast today. It's a schedule release recap, man. Some of these scores are wild. John Rahm has played himself out of the tournament. He's 3 over. He's done. Schauffele's 9 under. 9 under. Rahm's not even halfway through his round. He's 12 shots back. Goodbye. Fire up the Learjet. Maybe Rahm's not playing well because he's not in shorts with the DJ cranking live music in the background. Joe in San Antonio, one of my favorite spots on the Riverwalk. Hello, Joe.
Hey, JT. Thanks for having me on. Definitely agree with the slap in the face, opening up 2 games back-to-back on the road. 1 primetime game. They're trying to call it 2 with the spotlight. It's a spotlight game now, but the reality is it's not on primetime. But that's not going to change until we can win consistently and that we have top play from the quarterback position, and this year's the year that we're going to start doing that. Some of the good that I did like from the schedule, I like the bye. I like where we're at in week 10. I think that stretch between week 8 through week 13 is going to be very vital to see where this team is going to be. If we're going to be above 500 or we're going to be in playoff contention. I like the F1 week. Week
Oh,
12
yeah.
versus Denver. F1.
Yeah, you're right.
Already.
Yeah, my birthday's on the 23rd. F1's that weekend, and they got the game on 24. That's usually around the Thanksgiving game. Yeah, I never thought of that. Thanks for bringing that up about F1. Thanks for bringing that up.
Go to the Torch and wish you happy birthday.
Well,
man.
thank
I'm
you.
gonna be there for that game. I booked my tickets, my flight, my hotel, and F1. I wasn't there last year, but I heard it was huge. Had people that were there that told me that it was great, great overall. I'm gonna pay attention to that week 3, week 4 too, to see if Canelo's fighting during that September. That's a big miss for the NFL. The Raiders should always play during that September 15th weekend. It's a big holiday for the Mexican fans, the Mexican Nationals. It's a big boxing week. The Raiders should be there every weekend. But look, I think there's a pathway to 11 here. I think that we got to split those games between the Browns, Steelers, Rams, and the Buccaneers. Those are winnable games. And then we got to have a surprise win between Baltimore, Miami, and Cincy, and we could get to 11.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate the call. That's interesting, Bobby, because when you get ready for the election, everybody says there's got to be a path to winning the election. And the path normally is Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, Florida. There's a path. I like what he said that. It was a very good election talk. The path to the Raiders winning 11 games is what? You got to win 2 or 3 games. I threw this out there. I threw this out here in the chat that we have on YouTube, JT the Brick YT. And part of that was, what are the games that the Raiders aren't supposed to win, which means they're not supposed to win. They're an underdog. Vegas has them supposedly losing. What are those games that they have to win? I would think that would be Cleveland at home, Atlanta at home on Monday night, the Chargers in LA, because if the Raiders beat the Chargers in LA week 1, the Chargers won't be relevant by the last game of the year. Chargers will be gone. They're a 5-win team. But the Chargers could say the same thing about the Raiders. If the Chargers are able to beat the Raiders week 1, they're going to say the same thing, that they'll be coming into Allegiant Stadium at the end of the year playing for the playoffs, and the Raiders will be out of it. Nothing's going to be a must-win for me the first couple of weeks. But as I said, we have to win the game. The Raider Nation fans, we have to win the game at the Chargers. It's a big one. If they would have put the Charger game week 3 or week 4, you know what would have been fun? The Chargers being the Raiders home opener. That would have been cool. How about if they would have thrown us a bone and said, we open up at home against Carolina, then we go to Baltimore, and then we play the Chargers at home. Something like that. And they decided to give us both Harbaugh brothers back-to-back. We're going to open up with Jim and John Harbaugh. And they go to each other's games when they can. They're brothers. They share all their information, and that's who we're going to get right out of the gate. How about that? All right. Do we have Raider Mike, Bobby in Portland on line 2? Raider Mike. Mike, you're up next. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
What's up, JT? It's been a while.
Yeah, Mike, how are you?
I'm good to go, man. I left the Stones concert. Thank you, Raider Nation, for the tickets. That was
great. You went via Raiders? Nice, good.
Number 5 for me.
Good.
81 was my first. I know how big a Stones fan you
Yes,
are.
I am. What do you think of the schedule? I got to keep it moving today. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Harbaugh's, you nailed it. Brutal, but the NFL is about ratings. I said this on Vinny's show last week, Clay's show. They're going to give us Harbaugh. They want the ratings right off the bat. And if AP didn't make that run, Harbaugh would be our coach, which is a weird spin to that whole.
You're right about that. You nailed something. If we didn't win the 3 out of 5 down the stretch in the division and he didn't get game, I'd still think he would have been in the running to get the job. But one of the reasons was the finish, the beat down of the Chargers scoring 63 points was one of the main reasons Antonio Pierce got the job as head coach and not interim head coach.
Exactly. So anyway, it's all about ratings. And my family is be more. I think I need to go to that game. I haven't seen that in a couple of years. So that'll be epic. And the ultimate disrespect. The Falcons are nothing to Raider Nation. Never have been, never will be. No one cares.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. And I got to run, my friend. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. He does with Atlanta. There aren't many teams out there that the Raiders don't have a big history with. There's not. Raiders have history with everybody. Everybody has history with the Raiders, but not the Falcons. I'm sure I'm missing a game or two. I'm sure there was some great Falcon Raider game that I wasn't aware about in the 80s or whatever. I'm sure. I'm not saying that means nothing. But overall, it's not something you put on Monday Night Football at the end of the year as your only Monday Night Football game. I don't like that decision at all. So there's a few things I don't like about the schedule. Most of the schedule I'm fine with because you play to win the game. No matter how they line them up, you're going to play. And I think the Raiders' defense, which is not stacked to completion yet, but stacked at a couple of positions. I just saw the podcast that Robert Spillane was on with Max Crosby. I mean, they're good. They're ready. Antonio Pierce has got this defense really clicking and doing the right thing. I can't wait to see how they play together. What happens if we're in the middle of a game? And let's forget about Kansas City or division games. I'll give you a good example. The Cleveland game. And it's Deshaun Watson versus Aiden O'Connell, just for a conversation. And it's 17-17 in the fourth quarter. And Cleveland hands the ball off up the middle, and Christian Wilkins blows up the play. The ball comes out. Max Crosby scoops it up. First and goal, the next thing you know, Raiders win the game on one play from a guy we didn't have before who's now going to be an all-pro or a Pro Bowler. That's what they're not telling you on NFL Network, on Fox Sports 1, on ESPN. They're not telling you how the Raiders can be better. The lazy national narrative is the Raiders don't have a quarterback. I mean, really, from guys who get paid to be on television are saying the Raiders don't have a quarterback. What do you mean by don't have a quarterback? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, you don't think their quarterbacks are any good? Really? Aiden O'Connell, you don't think is good and can win in this league? And Gardner Minshew's won a bunch in this league. Yeah, the guys are saying no. But Joe Burrow, who's always hurt, they think he's Joe Montana. Joe Burrow could have a bad game against the Raiders any day of the week. So it's going to come down to how healthy the Raiders are, and what the Raiders are going to be able to do along the way, how they're going to be able to do it, and can they come out of the gate and be fast, in shape, and clicking with what they have to do with 12 personnel. No one's talking about Brock Bowers. What happens if Brock Bowers goes into LA week 1, has 6 receptions for 79 yards and 2 touchdowns because we run some jet sweep with him at the 4-yard line and he runs it in? Or, he runs a slant route and he breaks a tackle and goes 35 yards. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how the games are going to play out. But we're just hoping that the Raiders are healthy and ready to go, because if the Raiders are healthy with their roster overall, I think they'll be pretty good. I really do. I think they're going to be good. Brian is in Los Angeles on the Raiders mobile app. Hello, Brian. I'm doing good. What's going on with you? Yes, I appreciate that.
Love that. Just share with you something real quick before I get on this schedule screwing this job that the NFL gave us. But, my mom used to date who they called the pig, Dave Dalby. I used to spend, he used to come over and hang out at the house, when I was a kid and tell us old Jack Tatum stories and all these guys, man. It was something that's embedded in my roots. It's silver and black, which leads me to why, we should not be surprised that the league is jobbing us on no primetime game. The league has been jobbing the Raiders since the Immaculate Reception, since Pete Rozelle took John Elway out of our hands in the '83 draft. Since, they've been jobbing us for years, so we shouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
On that note, I love the schedule as far as how they got a rope, because I think AP, for the first time in a long time, AP is going to have these teams motivated, ready to go, playing hostile, mobile, and, everything else that goes with it. We're ready. We're a team that's, I think, underestimated, and that's okay. We should be. Because AP is going to have guys ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
also,
the word.
one primetime game is an absolute job.
It is.
From the schedule makers, and I'm sure Roger Goodell had to stamp it and approve it, and so that doesn't surprise me either that he was okay with the second or third biggest brand in all of sports behind the Cowboys
Yeah, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. This is the same week with John Gruden lost a lawsuit. Now he's going to have to go on appeal. And I know a lot about that. I know more on that topic than the majority of everyone on earth because I'm in conversation with a lot of people involved with it. So that news broke the other day. And then we're finding out, nothing else is catastrophic here. We just only got one primetime game at home. And I thought we deserved more than that because we're Allegiant Stadium with Vegas, with the sports and entertainment capital of the world. I think we do a good job on primetime. We got a beautiful stadium, the backdrop of Vegas, a good football team, not an elite football team, but a good team, good enough to be on Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, both those channels once. We're not even on Sunday Night Football. And there are teams that have won 4 or 5 games on that broadcast. I don't get that. I think you got to go out of the way to do that. That's just the way I see it. But I'm looking forward to the schedule. The opening up in LA, that's going to be interesting because I told Bobby, I'm going to go all in on that game, and I shouldn't. I should be responsible and go one game at a time. We're going to do one at a time. No, not me. I'm not apologizing. I'm going all in on the Charger game. I'm already getting beat up by Charger fans. Chargers in their schedule rollout did that cartoon of the Raiders as a clown, right? All that. I just think that Antonio Pierce is going to have Inglewood, Compton, that whole area of Los Angeles on high alert as the Raiders are coming. We want the Raiders and Antonio Pierce to be welcomed like an army for that first game that he's ever coached in LA. Very important to me, very important to all Raider fans. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTubers who were great for me today. We're over 100 the whole time there, which my son says is great. Daddy says, Dad, it's not bad for someone who just started at this. So we're going to do that. Appreciate you. Thanks to everybody. Hit subscribe and share. YouTube, JT the Brick YT. Xander Schauffele, 9 under. Big lead at the PGA Championship at Valhalla. Brought to you by the M Resort Spa and Casino. Oh, that is 90 minutes or 85 minutes of content, boys and girls. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll YouTube it from noon to 1. Noon to 1 Pacific. Phil, make that putt. Phil Mickelson makes the putt. All right, Phil makes the putt. 1 over. Started 2 over. Thanks, everybody. Please keep sharing the word on the YouTube. You are my first YouTubers. You're the ones who are building the foundation. I greatly appreciate you.
That's 702-820-1234.